Hi YouTube, my name is Daniel Lawrence. I'm the founder of DR Lawrence & Associates. We're owners, representatives, and construction project managers operating in the corporate real estate space. And today we're going to get into phase 3 of design, which is the third part of our series on the 5 phases of a project. Now during the design phase, there's going to be a lot of things that are happening that are overlapping, if you will. We're going to be doing a lot of different things at the same time, and this is probably the most intensive phase as far as work goes for a construction project manager or an owner's rep. And those 4 things that we're going to be talking about today are our SDs and DDs, which is schematic design and design development, getting our permits, making sure that we're going through procurement, and then mobilization, so getting ready to have boots on the ground and jump into phase 4, which is execution. So as you guys know, what signifies going from phase 2, which is planning, into phase 3, design, is essentially we have budget approval. We have scope, schedule, budget, and now we've got the budget approved, so we have money to spend. So we're going to start off essentially with some form of procurement. Again, this is going to be kind of happening throughout the design phase, and that's going to start with our architects, making sure that we have our architects under contract beyond what the pre-design stuff was with developing test fits, where now they're actually going to be doing the design drawings and getting the CD set, the construction drawings, ready to be submitted for permit. There's going to be a number of things that happen as we're doing that. Typically, there's going to be 2 large checkpoints that happen during schematic design and design development, and that's going to be first, either a SDDD review, or it's going to be a 70% page turn. And they're essentially the same thing. The difference is the 70% page turn is a little bit more condensed and less formal than an SDDD meeting. An SDDD meeting typically happens in person. There's usually physical samples and options of various design elements and finishes that the client can pick from. But essentially what's happening at that point is 70%, it usually happens around the same time, we're 70% through the actual drawing set that's going to be submitted for permit and used for some of our other procurement activities. And that is where essentially you want to meet with your client and review what those finishes are, whether it's in a page turn format or whether it's in a formal face-to-face setting where we've got physical samples and whatnot. Because at that point, we should understand all of the things that they want and that they need, and we still have time to be able to incorporate those into the drawing set. And we're reviewing everything with them, and they are giving us their approval at that point. So once we've got that established, what the finishes are, what some of the design elements are that the client wants to have, they're approving it, and then we're being able to move on and continue to the next milestone in that, which is essentially our 90% page turn, which is also our landlord review. The landlord review is much simpler. It's typically not a face-to-face meeting or page turn format. At that point, typically we're just submitting that drawing set, that 90% drawing set, to the landlord for them to be able to review. And they're reviewing a number of different things. They are reviewing it in total, but one of the primary things that they're focused on with their 90% landlord review, a lot of it is the MEP systems and how they integrate with the building systems, so that they can make sure that anything that's happening in that office space or that lease space is appropriately connected to and the appropriate power usages and the appropriate building standards to plug into that building, because they ultimately own that building, and your tenant that you're representing is leasing that space from that building. So that's at the point where they're going to review it, and then they're going to provide their approval on it once they're at a good place with everything that they see that's going on with those drawings. Then at that point, once you've got landlord approval, you've got your client approval, now you've got your landlord approval, the architect will finalize any little changes or feedback that was integrated or incorporated into those, and then we're going to be able to send that off for permit for the city to be able to actually legally be able to proceed with the project. During that time frame, and really kind of throughout the whole process, there are going to be various procurement elements. Like I said, up front, we're getting our architects involved. During the SDDD duration, There may be a few other vendors that we're starting to get involved. Furniture is one that is top of mind for me because a lot of the furniture features and colors, whatever the finishes are, if it's a sit-to-stand desk or not, those are all things that are likely going to be incorporated into your drawings as well, because they determine various electrical connections and what the floor plan looks like and head counts and things like that. So furniture is usually integrated a little bit earlier with some of that. And then towards the end, usually when you're about 80-90% through of your SDDDs, that's when you're going to start reaching out and touching base with general contractors, for example, making sure that you've got a bid list that's put together of some guys that know what they're doing, and you've got approval from the tenant and the landlord to be able to bid the projects to these guys. And then you've also got buy-in from them saying, yeah, we're available, we're interested in this project, which typically we send them our preliminary schedule and the test fits so that they can get an idea of what's involved here and give you a thumbs up or thumbs down if it's something they're interested in. Then once the drawing set is complete and it's going off for permit, we'll use that to send off to the general contractor and put together a formal RFP or a request for proposal. And then that's really when the bidding starts. With the general contractors. And I'll do another video that really gets in depth into the bid process and some of the things that we're looking for in order to come up with an appropriate selection of a general contractor that's going to deliver the best product at the end of the day for your client. But as we're going through that GC or contractor bidding period, we do that in tandem with sending off for permit, because it's usually about the same time frame. With all of the elements that are involved with bidding the project out to a contractor, and then also getting them under contract with the red lines and timing and things that go back and forth. And that's usually best aligned with permit duration as well. So those are two different activities that are happening at the same time. And then at that point, once we've gone through that procurement phase, we've selected a contractor. We're also looking at some of our other ancillary vendors, whether it be a security vendor, an audiovisual vendor, whatever it may be. That's also happening at this same time as well, making sure that they're under contract, they understand the scope and the schedule, and we're ready to get them boots on the ground. So once we've gone through procurement, then we enter into the last portion of the design phase, which is mobilization. Mobilization usually takes several weeks, and there's a number of things that are happening during this period. But the mobilization period is primarily going to be what the contractors and what your vendors are doing. They're making sure they're getting materials ordered, that they have their crews put together, that they understand the lay of the land on the building itself. They're also meeting with the landlord and doing a pre-construction meeting so that they can understand simple things like where the loading dock is, what the building rules and regulations are. We're also getting COIs completed and approved and on file with the landlord. That's a certificate of insurance, so that everybody's covered and we can get going on the project. So once we've gone through those four things, we'll be able to get into phase 4 of the 5 project phases, which is execution. And what signifies that is actual day 1 of construction, boots on the ground. So guys, I hope that was a good explanation of the design phase. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Keep an eye out for the rest of the series to come. Again, we've got phase 4 and phase 5 to round out our playlist. And if there's anything that we can do to help your business and guide you through the construction process and be your owner representative for any of your workplace needs, please make sure to visit our website at drlawrenceandassociates.com, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.